Hi everyone, welcome to the Matt and Rob talk about, well, in this case, F1. And I guess
Hello.
with the F1 season starting, we're going to talk about the first weekend of racing. And I'm Matt, this is Rob.
I'm Rob.
And,
Hi, how's it going, everyone?
Yeah, let's do this thing. It was an entertaining weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy long time since the season 2020 was supposed to start, obviously, and now we've got the first race, not as planned in Australia, but in Austria, in the Große Preis von Österreich.
Yeah.
Ja, natürlich. Yeah, always good. Like it's the Red Bull. Are they officially called the Red Bull Ring? I'm not sure, but it's where Red Bull. Yeah. Red Bull is at home and they do all their testing there, or a lot of their testing there, and that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's been an interesting one to watch for sure, especially going into it and going into a new season after such a long break. There was a lot of anticipation on all the teams.
Yeah.
I think mostly on Ferrari.
Oh yeah, I think it was the big question was Ferrari bluffing, or was it a true statement that they were like gonna struggle?
Yeah, and just to see like where everyone was after the break and like what Mercedes' new improved steering thing does.
The DAS, that's
the DAS, yeah, which I thought was quite fun, especially because Red Bull wanted to, or was so against it and was trying to get
actually,
them.
well, I don't think they were really against it because like there was Christian Horner speaking, I think it was Friday for the FP1, he was talking out on Sky, and he was just like, he was not really against it, they just did ask for an investigation just so they could be sure it was legal, because I think they're working on it too. So they're trying to put it in their cars too, so they would be like 100% sure it's legal just before. But Red Bull,
I'm pretty sure they're going to do it as well. I didn't feel like it did very much in the race.
And I think in quality they didn't really use it. I think someone said like they watched the inboard and they didn't really use it a lot. It was not like something they used.
You see it every now and then. So it's basically the steering wheel is being pulled out or pushed in, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you can see them moving the steering wheel forwards or backwards, which is kind of interesting to see. But it's and also for me absolutely mind-boggling how they can do all these things.
It's one more thing.
Yeah, right. It's just one more thing. If you've ever seen an F1 steering wheel and all the buttons and dials, and how they just on the fly with like 250 kilometers an hour change brake balance, a bit less to the rear, a bit more to the front, and that kind of stuff.
If I think about it, I'll put like a picture of it because I saw like a racing driver that I follow put a picture on Instagram of like a racing wheel and then all the settings that is on it. So if I think about it, I'll put a screenshot of it on.
Yeah, we should put it on the screen. I mean, every team's racing like steering wheel is different.
Different, yeah.
And they all do different things and have different modes, and it's all very. Yeah, and only the teams know what sort of position 16 and code 58 does. But basically, there's a lot of stuff to do for the drivers, and that's just another feature that I think more teams are going to adapt. Like you said, Red Bull is probably going to get it.
It's just for this year. Like I think that's the problem. Is like not a lot of teams are going to do it because next year it's illegal already for next year. So it's
did they say it was illegal? I think I might have missed that.
It's already rule is illegal for next year. So it's literally just money spent for this year, and I think no team has money to spend. Like Ferrari is too far away to just think about that. And maybe Red Bull is the only one.
Shall we talk about Ferrari? I don't know if we want to.
I think let's start with Ferrari. I think that's the big topic.
I mean, if you didn't watch the race, and you're not the biggest F1 fan, which why are you not? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Then you might be mistaken for thinking that Ferrari is doing very well. I mean they didn't qualify well. They qualified very badly. But Charles Leclerc ended up being second on the podium.
Yeah.
So all in all,
cards playing right for him. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at it from the outside, like second, that's great. I mean, way better than his teammate Sebastian Vettel, who we should probably talk about later. But I think Ferrari got lucky, and Charles did the best he could, best he could with what he had.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, because in qualifying it was very clear that Ferrari does not have the pace, especially not qualifying pace,
Oh no,
to
not
be
close, but like that was.
Yeah.
The stats were insane. I mean, on the F1 Instagram, they put like a picture of like the stats, and they lost like a 9/10, I think, or like almost a second compared to last year on qualifying, and it's insane. Like you put money and effort and engineering, and you just lose a second. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like.
They have like every other team has a huge budget, but Ferrari is one of the teams that have we used to have one of the bigger budgets anyway. So for them to spend an entire year spending millions of dollars or euros, and then to lose a second, it's pretty rough going. Which is, I think, partially due to their engine, to the regularities or irregularities that they had last year.
There was a little problem with the engine last year that was hidden quickly by the FIA, but it was.
So apparently it was that the Ferrari was using too much fuel. I think the fuel flow rate was too high for certain things. It's all like absolutely controlled and monitored. So the FIA can see what every team is doing in every car and how much fuel they're getting. Yeah. And there's a certain limit to all that kind of stuff, just to, I guess, make it fair or give it some sort of regulations that other teams have to
very strict. I mean, the rules are very, very strict. So
yeah, and Ferrari did somehow tricked around a little bit, so their engine power was a lot higher than the other teams, especially on the straights. Ferrari had
they had a very high
huge advantage, and were always better and very, very competitive on circuits that have longer straights and not very or not very many slow corners. And then the teams, actually there was a settlement between the FIA and Ferrari that wasn't an unofficial, well, it was official.
Well, it was a few teams that asked for an investigation, and then like they quietly just put it down, let's not talk about it.
They quietly settled it. So
yeah, that's weird. And suddenly they didn't have investigation started. Oh, performance just dropped. Like that was weird.
What was Ferrari doing there?
It was weird. I mean, I don't think it's only that. I mean, they were not like that far away last year, and they just got like Racing Point just basically copied last year Mercedes and was faster than them. So they literally, even with the engine problem, they even were like the performance was overall worse than last year.
Yeah.
So that's not going the right way, and I think they're gonna, I think they're not gonna have to be like too, Charles Leclerc finished second, but I don't think they can afford to be distracted by that. I think they just have to get down to it and then find all the problems, because there is a lot of them. And
definitely. And I think it shows even more how good Charles Leclerc is if he has a car that is not performing well at all. And it also kind of shows what of a weird situation, I guess, Sebastian Vettel is in, because I still think he's a very good driver. But he just doesn't show it.
I think he was a very good driver. I don't think that he is a very good F1 driver right now. Like for the last 2 years, I don't think he is anymore. I think he lost a bit of his... I think he's still a talented guy, man, a nice guy, but I think he just maybe, sometimes you just... I don't know, you're not in the perfect, you're not on point anymore. It just doesn't work and it doesn't click, and your instinct is not there anymore. And I think like his instinct is not there. Like he just, every time like he has to go for a move, like this weekend his move was there was no way he could pass there. Like it was just like a rookie karting move that you go Sunday to the karting track and you just do that. But there was no way it was gonna go, and then he just go for it. Anyway.
I really don't think there was a chance for him to overtake in
not
that lap
close,
at the time. And then to sort of for him to talk about, because like he was asked in interviews what happened and what sort of was going on and what was going through his mind, because he was in 8th position, I think. I think it was lap 31. I've written it down a little bit, and then he tried to overtake Carlos Sainz, which went just badly. And because it was after a safety car, all the whole all the other cars were just really close together. So when you spin and you can't keep driving, everyone overtakes you. So effectively ended up right at the back of the field. And then overtook, I think only managed to overtake one person at the end.
And he finished 10th. So
only 11. Yeah, but he finished 10th out of 20
11
cars, right?
Yeah.
But
I
9
mean-
of those cars didn't
Wow,
finish.
that's
So he
not great.
finished second last, which is
In a
not
Ferrari,
great.
that is not the best, yes.
In a Ferrari when his teammate finished second. So that's, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I really hope that he sort of comes back and finds his strengths, or not even just his strength, like just finds a bit of more of his cool, because he really didn't need to overtake. Like, it was unnecessary. If he would have stayed 8th, he might have had a chance to become 7th or go a bit further, like, because I think the car is still pretty good and can still compete with teams, just not with the
I
just
think
not
it
with
won't
Mercedes
help.
and
Like,
Red
I
Bull.
think people were really I think there was a little like a bit of a shock of how he was like, you know, fired by Ferrari. I think everyone was, you know, the statement like in the lockdown was like, oh, we came to an agreement, and I actually said that they just called him and said like, oh, next year don't need to come, you know, we don't need you anymore. So it was a bit of a
Yeah.
Ev-
Next year,
everyone was like, you know,
just
this-
don't show up again.
yeah, too old, not good enough. Bye. You know,
And I thought that was fascinating because around the time, or it was around May, really, when it was all revealed and finished, is usually when F1 has their discussions, and it's all sort of like they're looking to next year already. But because they hadn't raced this year, I didn't expect them to make these decisions already.
And it was weird because it was super early. I mean, just to commit themselves. I mean, you know, a lot of people were saying like he's gonna come back and prove them and just beat Leclerc so bad.
I was hoping for that. I was rooting for him
too. Like you just finish
so
on
much.
high and just like prove them wrong and just you
Yeah.
know. But it's gonna be tricky for him just to like, because he was saying I have no other plans apart from F1, and that's gonna be very tricky for him to stay in F1 in a competitive team, just showing like performing like that. I mean, who is gonna hire him and pay him the big money to do that? I mean, no one. Even Mercedes is not interested, I bet, when they see him doing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It was interesting because Nico Rosberg was on. I was watching it on German television, and he commentates, which is quite cool. And he was just saying that, yeah, like if you wanted to, like that's the only option is sort of to like show what you can do, and if you like you're only in F1, unfortunately, you're only as good as your last race was,
Yes.
which was not good for him. It doesn't matter if he has 4 world titles,
Oh
world
no,
championship
yeah, it was
titles.
a long time ago also, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, with different cars and different regulations and
Different team, yeah, it was just a different
completely different
era,
team
yeah.
as well.
And then the last 2 years. I mean, it's not even the last race; it's the last really 2 years that have been tough for him. So
Like you could. Yeah, you're right. I think you could forgive it if you had a stellar performance like Hamilton has, or other drivers like that don't crash very often. But I think over the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years, Vettel has been showing these signs where under pressure he just seems to not do the right decision, or like just, I don't know, brake a bit too late, or like drive into someone, or drive onto the track badly.
a lot of little mistakes are just are not good looking for sure. And I think like he says he doesn't have any plans apart from F1, but I think there is no shot of him getting in any big teams. Like performing like that, there is no way. Maybe he was performing great. Maybe like another team would be like, you know, Ferrari is crazy, let's take him. But I think I don't see Red Bull taking him. That there is no way of them doing that. I don't think so. And then Mercedes is the same thing. And then what he's gonna do? Like go to Renault? Like it's probably one of the most like, you know, disappointing teams in Formula One. Personally,
coming from you.
Coming from a French guy, so you know.
Coming from a French man. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite lucky that Mercedes is German, I guess. So I guess that would be my team.
But I mean, I think that is what he's gonna do. I mean, Kimi is enjoying, but Kimi is a different guy. You know, he doesn't care about. He even says it. He's just enjoying himself. So I think he's Vettel.
Yeah, I think
he said that he's not there for the money or for traveling the world. So if he's only there for winning, I think he just has to stop and just take some time off and maybe just race somewhere else in some other car.
I think he's got a couple of options of either he tries to be, well, if he performs as he can go, like as he is right now, he have to realize that like he's not going to be with a team that can win races next year. So he could go to one of the lower end teams and try to like really build them up and like help them out, because especially if they have young drivers, they can always learn a lot from more experienced drivers, or just just call it quits, mate. Just
I think, yeah, he has young kids and stuff, so I think it's gonna be a. I think
yeah, he's got 3 kids, I think. Yeah.
So I think it's gonna, and like I think last year, like the latest one was born, so I think he has like a very young kid. So just starting over all this, a year of traveling just for nothing really. He doesn't need the money, so why do it? And also, I think there's a lot of other opportunities he can do. I mean,
You could join our podcast. Very successful
yeah, for sure.
Formula One
that'd be
podcast.
great.
Sebastian Vettel, if you're watching.
That would make us successful though. That would be a great boost.
That would be quite good.
We can't pay as much as Ferrari though, but hey.
We could try.
Okay.
We won't try. We can't pay you anything.
No.
I'm sorry, Sebastian.
He can pay us though.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Why not?
Maybe you could do another Rosberg sort of YouTube situation. I don't think he's the kind of character, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see.
I think he can be a fun guy. I think like he shows that he's like a fun guy sometimes. I think he's way more like, it sounds weird, but he's way more like relatable than Rosberg for some way. Like so Rosberg he sounds very posh and he's very like guy, and then I think Vettel is more like just a dude, just like I don't know, like you and me, you know what I mean? Like even when he does interviews and stuff, he's way more chill about it than, I don't know, he feels a bit less polished. And
I think I know what you mean.
So I think they're all on TV and stuff. It would be cool, I think, to have like.
I think so. But it's interesting because seeing Rosberg on his like, I guess when he speaks English and like talking English in those interviews, he sounds very different. Seems different than when I watch him on the German channel, because
cool.
It was interesting because it was him and Timo Glock, also a former F1 driver. And surprisingly enough, Nico Rosberg was the one who was talking like just straight, like he was like saying like it was, especially the Hamilton incident where Hamilton got a 5-second penalty. Rosberg was just saying no, like he clearly could have given him space and he didn't.
And he
give him
knows
the
that
penalty.
He knows that very well because he didn't give Hamilton any space like a few years ago when they tried to overtake him. So
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of it's fascinating for me as well to see his former teammate commenting on Hamilton's actions and the way he that's very cool. Maybe we should talk about Mercedes and Hamilton's drive.
I think Mercedes in general. I think Bottas did just a solid weekend. He was there. It didn't like the race was perfect. Didn't do any mistakes. Just was on point, and was there. I think he was just a solid guy. I think Hamilton had a tricky race. I think had to the penalty from the grid. I don't think it bothered him too much, but I think I don't think he's used to being in front. I think he's when people are trying to overtake or he's trying to overtake, he is not as good at it anymore. I think because you're just used to be first all the time. And I mean twice with Albon. I think that was I was shocked. I mean I was like on my feet. It was a beautiful move from Albon. It was like
incredible.
The best
Albon
move
the
of the season. I mean maybe like the last season too. I mean it was just the perfect move. And he just went into him. And then he raised his hand like he was not his fault. I mean you literally just opened the steering wheel like just come on man. He left you like the whole. There was like a car length like.
It was more than enough space for both of them to make the corner and go around it, and well, Hamilton did what he did, and weirdly enough, like they don't have a statistics or anything like that, but in my mind, it always seems like if Hamilton is in these collisions, because like it's not similar to what Vettel did, but like Vettel also gets into these collisions sometimes, probably being the one who causes it most of the time. Vettel always spins. Hamilton never spins. I don't know what Hamilton does. How does that work?
That's good. It just goes to show how Sebastian is lucky,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
it's just. And the radio after was like Albon was saying like, oh, this guy is such a sore loser. And like to be honest, like I really love Hamilton and stuff, but it's like when he wins, he's like the coolest guy on camera and stuff, and when he loses, he has nothing to say. Like he's always like, I don't think too much about it. Like it's okay. And he didn't say sorry. He was like, oh yeah, I accept the penalty they're going to give me. It's like, just say sorry. Just say you did it. It's like it's whatever.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like, they both got interviewed about what happened in the accident, and nobody was blaming anyone. I guess that's F1 politics, which I thought, I don't know, some of the things kind of boring. I sometimes wish drivers would talk a bit more their mind and what they feel, but
And it's funny
there's big
because,
contracts
like,
with huge amounts of money.
There was an F1 video about like they did a little series about F1. I think it was racing wheel to wheel or whatever. It was like one of the recent videos just before the season started, and it was like Lewis was saying, "Oh yeah, nowadays with the youngsters, I leave them plenty of space when they try to overtake or when I overtake them, just because I don't want to take any risk because they don't know. But I know that my team is working hard, and I know that it's not just about me. So I leave them plenty of space." And I was like, okay. No, okay.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome to cut that with the with them not leaving him any
Maybe
space.
I should do that. I should do that and post it somewhere, just for fun.
Yeah. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just frustrating. I think, like, especially like when you're a young guy, and just like, it was a guy that I think a lot of drivers, like young guys, look up to, and it's just you race against him.
But also,
like, it's a dream to race against him, and just you get hit twice by this I think Albon. How unlucky. And he could have won the race. Like, to be fair, like he was on the soft. They were both on hard used tires, so it was like no shot of them. Just he passed
no, exactly.
so
yeah,
easily.
I think Albon had
passed him so easily. He was crazy.
Yeah, Albon and Red Bull had a perfect strategy up until then, and could have done such a good job, and especially for Albon as well, because he came in as the clear number two as well. Like,
and even like the whole race, he was not hanging on. Like he didn't have the pace. Like he was 11 seconds out every time. Like he was not there. But with the good tires, he just could have won, and then that would have been great for, I think, his confidence, and then just to race out the rest of the season, I think.
Yeah, exactly, and great for Red Bull, and great to see someone else other than Mercedes on the podium, because like if Hamilton didn't get the penalty, and I think, funnily enough, I feel like Mercedes could have avoided Hamilton not getting the penalty if they would have let him pass, because they could have let him overtake Bottas, drive, because I still felt that he was quicker than Bottas, because he was always really
Bottas
close.
was doing slower laps at the end for some reason. Apparently, people like in French TV, they were saying like, "Oh, he's trying to slow him down. He's trying to slow Lewis down." Like, I don't know. I don't think that was true.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's fascinating. I wonder if that was Bottas' strategy. I don't think so, but it's interesting, like, to play with these ideas. Yeah, I guess from Bottas' point of view, he doesn't gain anything from Hamilton overtaking him or Hamilton being second on the podium or whatever. And I think it was quite interesting also to hear.
Like championship points. That's pretty much what he gains. If Hamilton is fourth instead of second, that's very good for him. Points.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He wouldn't want Hamilton to, But I was saying, from Mercedes' standpoint, they could have made sure they get 1 and 2, right? Like, it wouldn't have been too hard. But I'm glad they didn't. But also, it was interesting.
Team order, like first race, big team order like that. I just let him pass and.
Yeah. I think it's not Mercedes' way. That's true. But I found it interesting that Mercedes. I don't know if you heard it on French television and German television. It was fairly obvious that they had to turn down their engines because they had some sort of sensor issues.
It was sensor. They were managing
the curves and that kind of
gearbox.
stuff.
I think it was a gearbox thing, like a gearbox.
Thing, which, to be fair, like 9 cars didn't finish, so it
was a lot of problems. Like there was.
It was good that they made sure that
all engines, like Ferrari, whatever. No, Ferrari was fine, I think.
Yeah,
Ferrari didn't have any problem with the engines, but but Mercedes,
at least they hold it. They're not very fast
Renault,
anymore.
Honda, like the 3 other manufacturers had problems. So
yeah, exactly. So it was interesting to see, but I kind of it was like they were basically saying that because both cars, like the team can decide how fast your car goes effectively. Yeah. They can put it into qualifying spec, which is the most and the best the engine can do, but it probably wouldn't last 71 laps necessarily, or would be such a strain on the engine that 3 races down the line, it might break. So that's why they turn them down. But they have to be so accurate when 2 drivers driving behind each other with like half a second to a second in between them to turn both engines down at exactly the right time. Not to let anyone, overtake the other one. So, yeah.
And especially if you're behind, you're already like, you have problems with cooling your engine and stuff. So it's not the best to be following someone for a long time. So
yeah, exactly.
But I think you have to overtake fast or just leave a gap. Otherwise, your engine is gonna not be happy. That's for sure.
It's gonna blow.
Yeah. But yeah, I think overall it was like I think what else was it? Oh yeah, Norris. I mean, if I don't think if you saw the I don't know if you saw the video, but it was there is the last lap from Norris with like uncensored like team radio, and that's a great video to watch. It was like because they gave him like at every straight it was like, oh, push like overtake button, push this, put this mode on, like overtake button. It was like all
they must have given him everything.
Oh yeah, there was like nothing left. It was like the whole like car was on the edge. But it was great.
They don't care if the engine doesn't last. They
Yeah.
wanted to make sure he nailed it. And it was like, was it 2/10 or something? Like
it was 4.8 seconds behind Lewis. So that was 2/10. Yeah, but it was I was cheering so hard. I was like, oh, go. And then like he passed Perez, and Perez did also like a stupid move, like just like turn on him for no reason. Like, and I'm glad he didn't have any damage from that, because there was just like a stupid thing to do. Just like he was clearly faster than you, just let him pass. And you have a 5-second penalty anyway, so he would have been finishing in front of you. So that was just stupid. But yeah, he managed to like just get a podium. So that was like last year, like I think they said like McLaren didn't have any podium for like I don't know 10 years or something, and they just got like 2 in the last 3 races. So that's a great stat. I think
it's really good. It's really good to see a team like McLaren back on the podium.
And next year they have like Mercedes engine, so it should be better for them than Renault.
Should be even better. That's nice.
Just to show, I mean, with the Renault engine, they're like Renault is nowhere near them with the same engine, and it's their clients. So imagine with like a better engine, that's gonna be a great team. And if they had the McLaren engine, like that would be great. But sadly,
I don't think the McLaren engine doesn't exist at the moment. I feel like Ferrari should just get like a Mercedes engine.
Manufacturer on. That would be great to just have another option. I think like have like
a big we've got 3 manufacturers right now, right? Mercedes, Ferrari, and Renault.
Renault, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I think it would be great to have like a BMW or an Audi or so like a big. It's all German, true. So,
this is the way it goes. I don't know. Yeah, what else could you have? A Ford.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. It'd be cool.
If it's not a V8, they were not interested in anyway. So.
Yeah. I don't know how well they're doing with their hybrid power. Even though Ford has like fully electric cars, the Mustang, E-Mustang or something like that. But that's super off topic. Maybe something to talk about on a different sort of podcast.
But I think it was great. I think at the end of the Grand Prix was just the starter was like, okay, Verstappen is out. That's it. Grand Prix is done. It's gonna be Mercedes 1-2, and then I think whatever. Who else is like Albon third. That's it. It's done. And then the last 20 laps were entertaining for sure. So a very good start of the season. Even though it was weird to have no fans and stuff, it was weird, but it was still like a great.
I was thinking that Formula One doesn't have that. I don't think it's as weird, like especially from our standpoint. I think as a driver, when you're used to like coming in and seeing all the fans and hearing the noise and the hustle and bustle, sure it's different. But like on TV, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I feel like, whereas like football, when you like now it's 22 people running and like sweating, and that's all you can hear. Yeah. Whereas like Formula One lives like the sound is the engine.
It was alright. During the race, it was alright. I think before and after, it was like a bit of it feels a bit less, especially the podium was it's a bit of a weird podium.
Yeah, the podium was kind of weird.
They could have built like a with this, like just make like a nice podium but wider. I don't know, just like, no, let's not build one, just put this little stuff on the floor and that's it.
It's because of, I guess. Oh, I guess that's one thing that we didn't talk about at all, which is, I guess, kind of interesting and fascinating how F1 has dealt with the COVID-19 I guess pandemic and what they have done. And I think it's interesting to see that. Oh my god, I'm gonna need to send you the pictures of this, because Formula One has obviously enforced rules to deal with COVID-19. Lots of hand sanitizing, lots of like distance keeping.
They've tested they have. I think I heard on TV everyone involved that comes to a Grand Prix, they are tested every 5 days. They are tested.
Yeah,
like everyone, and it's every 5 days.
It's not nice testing. Have you seen the testing?
Oh, it's probably the thumb, like the thing in the nose, like that goes up to
your brain. Yeah. So the guy's crazy, but the German commentator who's always for F1 got tested sort of live, and it's like they do the mouth swab, and it's like kind of normal, and he had a bit of a gag reflex, but then they do the nose, and they just take like a Q-tip and just it looks very far the way they go in there. Not pleasant at all. But yeah, apart from that, also everyone was obviously wearing face masks.
Yeah.
And the German commentator went above and beyond and got a face mask with like a printed smile and like huge teeth on it. Hilarious! I'm gonna have to show that to you. It's so weird to me
I
how.
know the guy. I think he sometimes pops on like Sky sometimes to talk with the guys.
Yeah, they all obviously know each other, so you get that kind of stuff. But it was kind of weird that how the only one that I saw anyway, like because everyone else like has their own team ones or just normal like blue and white ones. No, but the German guy has to be different. Has to go like absolutely crazy. Not sure why. But unfortunately, that also meant that one of my favorite parts of the like TV coverage of Formula One isn't there anymore, which is the sort of just before the race where they go and talk to the race engineers and like go through where all the cars are standing, which I thought was incredible every time. I mean, I used to watch the British one with David Coulthard, who does an absolute amazing job at like talking to people at like trying to run through there with his cameraman, and then he loses his cameraman and he comes back and
normally I watch the Sky one, so this time I went to like a friend's house to watch it, but so I didn't watch the grid one. I didn't watch the thing before, but next time this week I'll definitely watch it on Sky because like the French coverage is just anyway.
Not good.
No,
I'm looking forward to the German one again.
Good.
Just to see how what they come up with this time.
Yeah, I think that the French one, they just, I don't know, I think there is no like energy behind it. Like, you know, they're not like vibrating as much. And also like they just make assumptions all the time. It's like a team is, on the radio, they're like saying, oh, go to mode 7. And it's like, oh yeah, so this mode might be that. You have no idea. What are you talking about? It's like, just don't speak about it.
That was interesting to me. Probably not very interesting to anyone else who watches this, but the difference between the German and the British sort of coverage that I've seen on Channel 4 usually is that if the Germans don't have anything to say, they just don't say anything. It's just quiet sometimes. You just get to see racing and that's it. And then every now and then they talk about the usual stuff and all the other bits and pieces and remind you of all the rules, which is good. But I feel like in the English one, they're always constantly talking about something. Usually it's quite interesting. Sometimes it's not. Yeah. Maybe we should do a commentary at some point. I think it'd be quite fun. I think it would probably be the least informative commentary you could get out there.
Yeah. It's gonna be tricky to be like, you know, making sense and being excited at the same time for sure.
A lot of guessing. A lot of was it this guy? No, it was that guy. Oh, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm better with like, you know, when you record it, I think it's different. I think if I'm alone, I would be like, oh, I know every single guy and every single description of what's happening. But maybe if we're actually doing it, it's probably gonna be not as good.
Yeah, hopefully we can get to watch before the end of this season, watch a race together live.
I mean, who knows how long the season is though? Now there's only like 9 races officially on, so.
That was something else I wanted to ask you because I wasn't really able to find.
Yeah, for now it's only
schedule
up until end of July or something. No, September, early September. That's it. That's the last one. I think for now it's Italy. I think.
Oh yeah, crazy. So round 2, second race next week.
Back in Austria and then twice.
Back in Austria.
No, then it's not. Yeah, back in Austria and then it's Hungary. Then it's twice Silverstone.
Yeah.
And then it's
Spain, Belgium, and then Italy.
Yeah. So then it might be only that. So, you know.
Eight races, that's crazy.
Or it's only that, or they're going to come back again to Austria, or again to Silverstone, or again to Hungary, or again to...
well, they're not going to go to America anytime soon.
No.
They're not going to go to Brazil, unfortunately, by the looks of it.
Oh, definitely not. Like, I think all the American side of the world is off for 2020.
I was still thinking they would do the Middle East.
Asia is done too. Middle East maybe, but Asia is done too because, you know, apparently there's some new stuff being discovered every day there. So
yeah, the news are shocking to do with anything, pandemic sort of scale.
Yeah, it might not be a good thing to go back there. So
why don't they do Monaco twice? I would see Monaco twice.
I think it's a logistic thing. I think it's very tight and you don't have as much space. It's like I think you can push, trucks and stuff and make more like little because I think they have to extend the garage by like a full. I think they put like a full I think like it was 20 square meters back, like behind the garage, just to be able to have enough space. So in Monaco, it's not possible. Right. There is no space. So
right. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, unless you're on a purpose-built track, it's kind of hard to add space or use certain space differently.
Tracks, yeah. So that's the real reason.
Interesting. But they're not coming to France anytime soon either.
Oh yeah, that's not a big deal though, because the track is so bad, so it's all right.
But it looks great. It looks pretty. They painted it really well.
Yeah, it's a great piece of art from the sketch, but that's pretty much all that is good for. So yeah.
They could do Germany as well, but Germany's sort of not on the calendar anymore.
They could do Germany, yeah. That's definitely something they could do, yeah.
I find it fascinating. I guess just because I watched the German coverage, there was a time when there was a season, I don't know what season it was, probably like 10 years ago or something, where they had 7 German drivers in the field. 7? Wasn't more than that. I think it was around 7, maybe 8. And 2 German racers in a season as well. Now we have 1 German driver who's probably about to leave and no German racers in the season. So I don't really know why, but the Germans don't like F1 anymore. Shame.
Yeah, there's a few in F2 that are coming, I think. So, like in the feeder series, there's a few Germans are actually good. So there should be some. There's a few very good Brazilians too. So hopefully we have some Brazilians back in F1.
It'd be nice. Yeah, definitely. I think we've got a decent amount of British people at the moment.
Yeah, there's enough British people. Yeah.
There's enough. There's enough.
There's a good amount.
Cool. How do you want to end this? Shall we get a little prediction for next race?
Yeah.
Or do you even want to go as far as the season?
I think the next race is already good. I think let's do next race.
Okay. Because it's the same race again, which I find fascinating.
But that's going to be very interesting though, because like will they have enough time to like fix the mechanical issues that they had? Like, they will fix it, but will it be like a long-term fix, or just they're going to have the same problem again? Or like, I don't know, because that's like a big factor in the race. Like, if Verstappen is still in, he's gonna win. Is it gonna be like maybe Red Bull 1-2 because they figure out something, or is Mercedes gonna figure out even more things and just be, another second faster? So
Mercedes seemed incredibly strong all around.
I think they seem incredibly strong in quali. I think if Max was still very much in there before he had to stop. So
I think you're right. In qualifying, I think it'd be hard for them to touch them. I think it's like, I'm just seeing it here, like half a second was what Max.
They could maybe close the gap a tiny bit. I think Max said that he was not very happy with the setup, so maybe they could work on it before. Well, they definitely will work 24/7 on it until Friday, so that's for sure. But then maybe you can close the gap a bit and then put like a real race on, and hopefully Albon is going to want to take revenge also, and have
that'd be good. That'd be good to see.
And what is Ferrari going to do? Are they going to qualify again like 11 and 7 or?
I don't know. Why are they even showing up at this point? I mean, just they got to do something else, right? Like, come on, like how can they be so bad?
Are they going to be? Hopefully, they find any kind of something for next week.
Yeah.
Or I think it's going to be hopefully a great battle between Red Bull and Mercedes.
I'm hoping to Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren.
I hope Red Bull is going to win though. I hope it's going to be like a very nice performance for Red Bull.
Right. Shall we do our top 3 for the next race? Do you want to do qualifying and race, or do you just want to? Let's
do qualifying and race, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do both. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start if you want. Quali. Okay, let's go for. I think it never was Hamilton's track. I think he's not. That's not his track. So I would give like again like a. Let's do a little crazy thing. Let's do Bottas, Verstappen, and Hamilton. Yeah.
Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton. I'm just writing them down so we have. We can chat about this next time. Interesting. Okay, I think Hamilton. No, I was gonna say Hamilton's gonna get it, but I don't think he's gonna. I think Verstappen's gonna get it because next time he's gonna have it down. He's gonna get the setup done and stuff. Then I'm gonna say Hamilton, and then I'd love to see Norris up there, but I don't think he's quite got the qualifying pace.
Podium is gonna be like a podium kind of quality. Top 3 is gonna be tricky though.
I'm just gonna say Norris, just because I want him to do it. I don't think so, but it'd be nice to not see to see one Mercedes.
Yeah,
it's enough. That's enough in the top 3. That's all we need.
Yeah,
I think that's fine. So just that was just for the qualifying.
Yeah.
What do you reckon for the race?
The race, I would say Verstappen wins, and then
Okay.
It's a tricky one though. I would.
You're gonna go with Albon?
That'd be. I mean, they could nail the strategy somehow, and just be 1-2. Okay, let's go for that.
Yeah.
Let's go for Verstappen, Albon, and then somehow Hamilton passes Bottas and just finish in front of Bottas somehow.
Hamilton is third. Okay, interesting. I'd love to see that. That'd be amazing.
That'd be great. I mean, who knows? Maybe Norris can come back. Have a 4th place for Norris. Maybe Bottas has a DNF. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe both Mercedes have DNF. No, they won't.
They get into each other. Maybe Bottas tries to pass Hamilton and then he hits him and then they both out.
And Hamilton closes the door again.
Yeah. Or they just the engine just blows, both of them out.
Yeah. 9 DNFs. I just hope there's not as many DNFs. I don't know. It was kind of interesting to see. Just because it gave us 3 safety cars.
Yeah, that put some spice into it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to say Verstappen as well. Hard. And I'm going to say Norris. I want to see Norris up there. I want to see McLaren. And
2 points in a
Hamilton.
row. That would be insane, though.
That would be crazy. But we'll see. Right, cool. That's our top 3 for both qualifying and race down. I guess we'll see what's going to happen. We're back on Friday with free practice. Is it just the same again? Are they doing anything different?
Yeah, no, it's the same again. Exact same thing again.
I wonder if they're would do like a Mario Kart where it's the same track but they drive it backwards.
That'd be interesting.
Would be cool. Yeah, it would be interesting.
I don't know if that would safety-wise they can do that though, but yeah, I think.
Could they not? Is it not just the same?
No idea. Probably.
We'll find out for next time.
They could probably do it if they wanted to, but I don't think it's going to happen. So
yeah, you'd have to drive into the. Yeah, you have to learn every corner the other way around.
Yeah,
that would be kind of cool. You're coming down the hill. That would be a really challenge.
That'd be cool. Yeah, down the hill and down again because after the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting, but it's not going to happen. So yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be the same again.
Here's hoping for something different next weekend.
I think it's going to be interesting. Just that's going to be actually the difference is going to be twice in a row, and just see what teams can actually do.
Yeah, the thing with F1 for me is always that there's always this chance that it will be boring. If you get a clear, Hamilton Bottas 1-2, they just do it.
It was going to be boring.
Kind of boring for the win.
It was going to be boring, but the DNFs made it entertaining. But
exactly. Yeah. But to come back to track again, I would imagine less DNFs because people have sort of figured out what went wrong. Maybe
the problem is if you don't have a different piece of if something in the engine broke and you don't have a fix for it, different change something, and you just put the same thing again, and it could break again.
But it could be like a thing of don't drive over the curbs as much or don't accelerate too hard in corner. I don't know 7 or 8.
I think it was the Renault was coolant issues, and then there was a few different stuff, so that was interesting. And Fiat the tire just blew up for some reason.
Yeah, that was very bizarre. That was because I remember when that happened to Vettel a couple of seasons ago, 5 laps before the end of the race or something, and he was furious with the manufacturer how they can't just make a freaking tire that lasts. But for them, almost blew up immediately.
But I think Fiat was a new tire because it was
new tire
soft.
even,
yeah, it was on soft. It was a new tire, and then Raikkonen his tire just fell off. But that was I think that I would think that they were gonna have a fine or something because I was normally if you don't put the bolt on right, they put they give a fine to the team, so it should be.
Yeah, just because the health and safety, it's such a huge risk if someone gets hit by a tire.
Perez and Racing Point didn't get anything for unsafe release. like he was just for speeding. It was not in safe
Yeah.
race. They released him on Lando. There was no shot of him being in front of him, and then just nothing. It's like, it's fine. They bring us a
don't
lot
worry
of
about
money. It's a lot of money they give us, so let's it's all right. 5 seconds is enough.
Yeah. The FIA and the politics is a whole nother episode itself, I think. Because you always have, it always feels like there's something in there that isn't just pure like
And it
rules
took a
and
lot of time
regulations.
to give him 5 seconds. It was like
Yeah.
middle of the race, and then like the last 10 laps, they gave him 5 seconds.
Yeah, it was
But
weird, but they got it
Hamilton was
all
so
out.
fast.
So.
Hamilton was like quick.
Yeah. Oh, who's at Hamilton? Nah, he can have 5 seconds. That's fine.
Yeah, but it was like took like 50 laps to be like, maybe they did something wrong there.
Yeah. Interesting how. Yeah, I'd love to like see them work and do it, because they're very quick to like be like, okay, here's an incident, we're gonna look at it, but then to actually make the decision and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can protest them, but you can't really go to the ref and like have a little word while you're driving.
Yeah, and I think like the Vettel Sainz thing when he spin, like they like instantly said, oh, no investigation needed, like instantly.
Yeah.
So it's weird how they took that much time just to, something that was very obvious. I mean, I think any comment, like people commenting was like, it's definitely obviously unsafe release, But that's how it is, At least they made the race entertaining, and he got the 5 seconds, so we saw Norris on the podium. It was great.
Exactly, yeah. So that was all good in the end.
Yep. So yeah, we'll see next week, and I guess we'll do another debrief, and hopefully it was exciting, and yeah.
Hopefully lots to talk about. If not, we'll just talk about something else.
Yeah. We'll talk about how boring it was, but yeah, no, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what we should do to improve. That's something that I would love to like send to people who watch this, if anyone watches, like a little Q&A or a little straw poll of like what like if you are not a fan of F1, what would you like to see in F1 for it to be interesting for you to watch?
Yeah.
But we'll talk about this another time, because they had some ideas back in the past that are absolutely worth talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And also you were
But that's
planning to
for
have
another
like a first episode where it's like, oh, excited! It was the best like F1 weekend in a long time, and then the second episode is like, how to improve it? It was so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah. Here, why F1 is really bad.
Why F1 is the worst?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll find out, won't we? So, right.
I guess wrap it up here, and we'll see each other next week for another one.
Exactly. All right. Take care.
Bye.